Now let's take a look at that same exact worksheet that we were doing domain on, except this time we're going to take this pencil, pretend that, remember this is your pencil, and we're going to turn it sideways. So we're not going to go with domain anymore. We're going to look at the range. So the range is the y values. So let's take a look. Here we go. Start at the bottom of the graph. Here's the graph. Where does it go? Hits the graph here and it goes on forever in the negative direction. Okay, so the graph goes on forever to the down direction. Range is up and down. So then I keep going, keep going, keep going, and it goes forever. It has that arrow at the end, goes forever in the upper right direction. Okay, so it goes forever down, forever up. And so now I'm talking about the range of this. So you already have the domain. The range, we're going to use an R, and the range will look like this. And so we put that big R, the range. This R stands for range. This R stands for all real numbers. It goes forever down, forever up. The range is all real numbers. And same thing as the domain. So the domain of this goes forever left, forever right. The range of this goes forever down, forever up. Okay, now we're just talking about the range, but it should look similar to your domain. When I take my pencil and I go to this graph, I'm following along, following along, following along. There's finally the graph. I finally meet at this x-axis. Well, that value down here is 0. So it starts at 0 and it goes up and up and up and up and up and up and it goes up forever. Okay, so starts at 0 and goes up forever. This is the way that I want to write that. Again, sounds like set builder notation. So let's do set builder notation. And so when I take a look at that, I've got the range is equal to, all of this stuff is always here in set builder notation. Squiggly means set x such that, and I'm talking about x is bigger than or equal to 0. Except this should be y's, not x's. Let me erase those and put some y's here. I get stuck in domain world. We're in range world. Range world. This range is going to start with the y value. So we start down here, follow up along the y's, and it hits this point at y equal to 0. And then it continues up up until infinity. So we're looking at all the y's that are bigger than or equal to 0. Okay, so let me take this pencil and go over here. Following along, following along, following along. I hit the graph here at -4. So this graph starts at y equals -4. And it goes up and up and up and up and up and up and has arrows at the end, so it goes up forever. So it starts at -4, goes up forever, which looks very similar to what we have written over here, except that we're starting at -4 instead of starting at 0. Look for that pattern. We're always looking for patterns here. It starts at -4 and goes up forever. This one started at 0 and goes up forever. Okay, look for patterns. This next one, number 4, so we're following y, following y. We're not even on the graph yet. We finally hit the graph right here. Well, we finally hit the graph here at y equals 3. And so y equals 3 is the only place that this graph goes because it doesn't go any higher than that. And so my domain is going to just be y equals 3. I think I said domain, but I meant range. So range is equal to 3. And I could have put it in set builder notation. I could have done y such that y is equal to 3. But it's the only number, so I'm just going to put this in set. The range is equal to 3. That's it. That number 5 is similar to that. Number 6, though, kind of gives us a little bit of a jump here. So I'm following the line, following the line, following the line. Here we go. I found it. Okay, found my graph. My graph is here at -3. Okay, but if I follow the graph, follow the graph, follow the graph, follow the graph, it's also up here at 5. So it's at -3 and at 5. Okay, so I need to write it so that it shows up as -3 and at -5. So again, I chose to put this one in set builder notation. Y such that y is equal to -3 or y is equal to 5. Take my pencil down. We've done all of these same things on this first page in terms of the y's, except for maybe this last one. Following up, found the graph. The graph starts here at -2, and this time the graph doesn't jump. It actually keeps going. It continues, continues, continues until it gets to 3. And so I could actually use interval notation for this one. Okay, but I can also use the set builder notation, which is the one that we were struggling with, so that's the one we're going to choose to look at. the most. So we start down at -2 and it goes all the way up to 3. So let's take a look at what that looks like in terms of the range. So this graph has y such that y starts at -2 and goes all the way up to 3, and it's every value in between there because this line is connected, which is different than the one we just looked at because there was a jump here. That jump means that I have to put an or in there because it's either down here or it's up here. This one continues the whole way and has a connecting line. Okay, so make sure that you know the difference between those two. We've looked at actually all of these. Let me grab my pencil here again. My range pencil. My range pencil on this one, again, starts down here. This one goes forever down and stops at 3. So I'm looking at all the numbers that are less than 3 in this one. So go ahead and put that one in there as the problem. This one starts at -3 and goes up forever. Same thing for here, and this is a similar one as well. When we get down here to 17, this one's going to be a better problem for us in roster notation because this is going to have y values here. I hit the graph at -5. I go up, I jump to here, so I'm not connecting, so I shouldn't use interval or set builder notation. I don't have a connection. I want to say that it goes from -5 and then jumps up to 1, jumps up to 3, jumps up to 5, and there's 4, and there's no connections in between these. So I want to make sure that I write that so that it looks like there's no connections between them, which is roster notation. And so that one has a point down here at -5. It jumps all the way up to 1, jumps up to 3, jumps up to 4, and it doesn't matter where it is on the x value. All I care about is the y value. And I don't have to put y such that as long as I label this as the range, because the range is the y's. Okay, and so I don't have to put that set builder notation in here. I could choose to, but I'm not going to. I want this roster notation instead. All the rest of these problems have similar problems to what we've done. Okay, so make sure that you go through and finish these, to take a look, and then ask questions if you aren't sure about them.